We just took some cameras, we took a chair, and we just brought some mics to the park. So,
That's
first
it.
question, I want to go right into it.
Let's
Does gear
dive.
really matter?
Let's dive, dude, because we talk about it in the gym, so why not bring it into the park?
I said, does gear really matter?
Um,
And this is for like people right now that are like, they got probably like a crop sensor right now, and they're looking at like FX6s, FX3s, and this is for somebody who just starting off. Like, hey, should I save up to actually buy something that's like a full frame or a better camera?
yeah.
What would you say to somebody like that that's like starting off, has maybe like a cheaper camera, and is like, should I really invest in like something bigger?
I would say no at first. I'd say lighting is probably equally as important. I look back at like a lot of older videos that I made, and I had these horrible LED lights that were like
Think I,
40-watt little things that had these square pop-up saw, and they were horrible, you know? One good light can change an image, I think, further than like one really good camera.
so what do you think? Like I think investing in a better lighting equipment versus like
Yeah,
upgrading the camera is like the next step. If you have
yeah.
like a basic camera, not basic, but like a crop sensor
Yeah,
or
because everybody
yeah.
focuses on the cameras and the lenses and all that stuff when I think when you're starting off, the more important focal points are lighting and also being able to tell a story, I think are important parts. Like,
I see this a lot in like the camera community. It's like you gotta have two memory card slots. What do you feel about that? Because
I don't ever
I've
use two memory card
I've
slots.
never used.
I
I've
never use
probably
them.
actually no. I've used two memory slots for like my own content. So like if I'm going to film and let's say I'm helping somebody out, then I'll like do a record for me, but
Yeah.
like never as like a backup.
I mean, there's been certain situations where I have done it, like at weddings,
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
started
that's what
off
I've
doing
used it for.
weddings.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I don't even want to say it out loud, so I'm not going to say it. But like, let's just say that I haven't ran into a situation where like the second card, I needed the second card or the second card came in handy. Say it like that.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because I've honestly for like any job that's not that's been like my like personal job, I've never dual
Yeah. I
recorded.
mean, let's say this. Don't like memory cards, hard drives, those types of things are easy to cheap out on, like
Yeah.
when you see the price, you know? But I've just always invested in like brand name stuff, you know, when it comes to like memory, like, you know, SanDisk or Samsung or like things that are reliable and you know, I haven't really had any
Oh,
really.
you mean like cheap memory cards, like aftermarket
Yeah.
memory cards? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like,
I'll be honest. When I first started, I bought a lot of cheap memory cards,
dude, you
and
could buy a SanDisk, you know, 256 gig, you know, V30, whatever. That still you can record XAVCS 4K, and it's totally fine. It takes a little bit more to copy the files and to copy them to your hard drive, but like, you know, like don't get a fucking Walmart,
it's,
Amazon Basics
that's what I
memory
got.
card.
That's what I
You know,
got
like
when
if
I
you're trying to
started
take
off.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you're trying to take it serious, like what are you gonna save? You know, so I think, and also like just gear in general, like cheap is expensive. You know, and what do they say? They say, you know, buy once, cry once. So
What
buy the expensive stuff, you know, invest in it, and then you don't have to worry about it failing.
What do you think is like a good cheap, something that you could buy cheap within the film industry? So like, what can you buy that you say, hey, I could, this you could buy cheap, but this you can't. Like, what's a cheap and what's a not cheap you can go on? Like
Like,
for me, I think like
yeah,
V mount
expand.
batteries. Like V mount batteries. Like I buy the cheap ones for my
I think
lights
it
and stuff.
depends on how you're using it to power your stuff. Like if it's like USB-C, then I think that's
I
okay.
use it with the D-tap, so like to power like
Okay,
my
yeah.
60 watts. So I usually buy the cheap ones that I can just like see on the side, like how much, like not percentage, but like how
Yeah.
much is left. So I usually
Yeah.
buy like the cheap V
I
mounts.
think that's okay, but if you flip that and you say, I'm gonna buy a cheap V mount that's powering my camera,
See there,
that
yeah,
is that
that's different.
sole like the way that I use my V mount with my FX threes is the V mount is on there, but it's cold and it charges the camera through USB-C. So that way, if there's an issue with the V mount, I still have the internal battery of the
To
camera.
recover, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're powering the FX3, right, with a dummy battery
No, 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 yeah, yeah.
to
So
like
I, yeah,
D-tap to
yeah,
like
I
a
get
cheap
you,
V
yeah,
mount,
yeah.
I wouldn't do that, right? Because
That's true.
if the camera goes off,
Then you're done, yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter
That's
what
true.
kind of memory card or what kind of V mount, you
I don't
know.
think I've ever charged the FX3 through a dummy battery. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
even know.
mean, I did
Honestly,
when
I
I
didn't
saw.
even know you could do that because the door stays open. So I've always been like, oh,
So
this
the
thing
older
stays.
cameras, they had a little flange where you can close the door
Oh,
and
okay, yeah, I
and
think
have
I
a
see.
cable come
Yeah, I
out.
think I've seen that before.
But
Yeah.
what happened was those started frying cameras. So that now the newer the dummy battery started frying cameras, and now they don't have the flange in the door anymore because they don't want you
What
using that.
What about for the? Because you have an FX6. So what about for the FX6? What do you use for the FX6 to power? I think I seen you got a V mount right in the back, or no? Or is that?
Yeah, expensive V mounts. Yeah, yeah. Anton Bauer, they're gold mount. So, and this is a good segue, right? So like I think when you're buying something, if you're buying good camera equipment, like it's okay to buy it used, right? So the FX6, the FX3, the prices have gone up because of tariffs and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I've seen that.
But
Yeah.
I found one used with a wooden camera plate with the Bauer batteries. Like it was a good kit,
Yeah,
right? And
that
I got a
actually
really
those wooden things are like, what is it called? The
wooden camera.
wooden camera. That
Yeah.
I've heard that name before, and it's like when I've looked it
Yeah.
up, they're
So
expensive.
like I wouldn't buy a $5,000 camera and power it with a cheap V-mount battery. It's just like it just doesn't make sense, right? And especially like so the reason why I got that camera is because I was doing a lot of doc work, right? I'm working on 2 documentaries, and a lot of times I'm the only person and I'm the only camera. So I'm not going to use a cheap battery to power an expensive camera and something go wrong and the camera shuts off when I'm using it or when I'm in the middle of trying to get a shot that
Yeah,
can only happen once. So it just goes to your, like, it depends on your workflow,
yeah,
what
and
you're doing.
I think with the FX six, it goes directly, right? Like it has like an adapter that plugs into the battery slot of it. It's
So
not
it
like
depends on the plate. So the wooden camera plate is a gold mount, and that powers the camera through the 16.9 volt plug. So
oh, okay,
the
okay. So
FX6 actually still has a BPU battery inside of it, and then the V mount is gold mount, but it's charging the
also it's charging. So
FX6.
you have a backup. So if anything, so like if the V
And the V
mount
mount does
failed,
crap
yeah,
out,
you still got the other
still
battery.
has still has a battery in there, yeah.
All right, because
But and even if that battery dies, the camera will still stay on because the V mount is technically powering it. And you can hot swap it. You could change the V mount out as long as that BPU battery in there is
it's
charged.
charged, yeah. So you
So
can,
you
yeah.
could hot swap the V mount. That's why I like that system. Now there are systems where the plate plugs right into the battery port and that V mount powers the camera natively.
Jeez.
See these leaves? It's rain and leaves. There are systems like that. I didn't have to like choose and decide because I found a kit that was used and I bought it and that was just the way that it was.
So let me ask you this: do you watch a lot of YouTube for like inspiration on like camera gear and stuff like that, or no?
I mean, who doesn't? I watch YouTube like it's my job.
Let me. So, do you think that like any of these like influencers that get paid to like show us the cameras and stuff, do they have any influence on what camera body you choose? Like, did anybody like kind of move you into the FX6? Because what do you have before that? You started with FX3, or did you do
Yep.
FX6 and then FX3 as like a B cam?
No, I had the FX3 first.
So you had the FX3. That's a good camera. Like I think
great
that's a banging camera like that.
It's a
You
sick
can get
camera.
almost everything done with that.
Yeah.
So what made you jump to the
The
FX6?
dock work.
The dock work.
And a lot of it was on exterior, like outdoor stuff.
Okay.
So the internal NDs
That's
was
what
a
I was
big
gonna say. Okay,
was a
so-
big selling point. And I think just the form factor of the camera. Once you hold that camera and you work with it, like even without a shoulder rig, you can shoulder mount it and get some really cool shots that are like eye level POV shots. And then like even with the top handle, I mean the top handle on FX3 is great too, but just the way that the weight is distributed on the FX6 when you have the top handle, it just feels a little different. So form factor, internal NDs, and then also the FX3 has this, but I started using it a lot more in the FX6 is the S&Q function,
Oh,
which is
okay,
the
okay.
slow and quick. So on the FX3, it's a little bit more clumsy to get into that. But like when you have the FX6, it's one button, a hard button on the exterior of the camera.
switch, yeah.
You press that, bam, and I have it set up just to 60 FPS, so 50%.
Okay.
And what I also like about that versus the FX3 is that when you play it back in your computer and in the camera, it plays it back automatically in slow motion.
So you know already what you got. So you can
Yeah, and
kinda,
like you don't
already
have
see
to
the
like
shot, yeah.
I don't know if the FX3 does it or not, but like if you film in 60 FPS on the FX3 and drag it into your timeline, you still have to slow
You
it
gotta
down
slow it down,
50%.
yeah.
Whereas with the FX6,
Good question.
it's
I've
already
never.
there.
I know it has like a slow and cue like
But that's
menu,
the
but
thing is that
I've
like
never used it. Yeah, I
exactly.
usually just bring it in, slow it
I
down
didn't either.
myself.
I didn't either.
Um, do you think like the clients like look at you different when you have like an FX6, FX3?
They
Do you
don't
think they even
fucking
notice or no?
they don't know anything about anything, bro. They don't even know what they want, let alone what kind of camera you
You
have.
don't think like when you walk in with that because I will tell you this. So I have a Ronin 4D and I've seen like people like ask questions when I
That's
bring them.
because that shit looks like a robot.
So I've like seen like
The
people like
FX6 looks like an FX3, but just a bigger camera.
I will tell you this though, but like having a bigger camera uh stops people from asking you, hey, can you take a picture?
Yeah, it does. And there has been situations where like people will be like, "Yo, that camera looks like a fucking transformer. Like that shit looks insane." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, like you know, it's a cinema camera,
Because
you
I've
know?"
gone to like events and it's like people will stop like, hey, can you take a quick picture when I have like the FX3 on me? And they're like, I was like, oh, it's a video camera.
Yeah.
And I always get that question. But with the Ronin 4D, I've never had anybody come up to me and ask me, hey, can you take a picture?
Yeah.
I get it constantly with the FX3.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wanted to ask you that about the clients, but I've seen difference. Like people look at like the clients look at the camera equipment and kind of like think like you look more professional with a bigger camera. I've seen like clients expressions when you see the camera, they're always looking at you compared to like a FX3 when you're setting it up, they're just like they're not really paying attention to the setup.
Yeah.
Like because it takes more time for me to set up the Ronin 4D, so I kind of look over, I see them looking over. Do you think that clients will pay more based off the camera gear you have?
Nah.
No? So you think like just going out with an FX3? I mean, that's something that you talk about before you even get to the job. So
Has any client ever asked you what camera you have?
no, but I'm saying in a sense of like I'm saying as a
Anything after butt is not relevant.
I'm saying it as a like I have gone on shoots where I do have the Ronin 4D and I've gotten referrals off of while using that camera. I think
Yeah.
the referral base has been like bigger from using the Ronin 4D on jobs and people coming up to me like, hey,
Yeah.
so you do video work versus like the FX3 is more of like, oh, I need somebody for my quinceañera. Oh, you do anything like that? Like I feel like the type of work that I've been getting referral base off of the Ronin 4D is different from like the FX3.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. Like I've seen
Yeah.
people come up to me for different work.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I'll tell you this. I bought the FX6 specifically for the dock work, right? And it's been sitting on the shelf more than it's been used.
How many doc jobs have you done with
Okay.
it so far?
I'm working on 2 right
Two?
now. Yeah. And I'm okay with that, you know? But for like my retainer clients that pay the bills that are consistent, I don't ever pull the FX6 out for them because 1, I don't need to. 2, they don't care. 3, the files are too big and they take too long to back up and to edit and to transfer. Like, so that goes back to the gear and what you're buying and what you're spending. It's relative to the kind of work that you're doing. Like there's a right tool for every job. And like
Yeah.
everybody says that. Like it goes on the job, you know? So I think that if people think if I buy this camera, I'm going to get this job, then I think you're thinking the wrong way.
Oh, let's go into that. So like how would you
Like I didn't buy the FX6 thinking like this is going to get me work. I bought it because I had a job that I knew it was going to serve me well on versus what I had already.
how would you tell somebody who's starting off like how to kind of price out jobs?
Mm-hmm.
How would you guide somebody through like pricing out jobs for like, who's starting off?
Yeah, that's the day old question. That's
Do
hard.
you
It's a
like
tough
do
one.
you do you price base
It's
off
worth
off of
what it is.
experience?
It's worth what you say it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think creative people always have an issue with figuring out what to charge. And it's like one of those muscles that you flex the longer that you do it, the easier it becomes. And I think at first people are scared that they say like, oh, it's cost this much that the client's gonna say it's too much, like it's not worth that. But this goes back to the conversation that we were having the other day, where the price of the job should directly be correlated to the result that it's going to get for the client.
I agree with that.
And that's kind of a long process to figure
Mhm.
out,
Yeah.
right? So somebody could just say, "Oh, I just want a little video, like I want to make a reel, you know, for $200." And like
Well, let me
When you're
ask.
starting off, that's great because you need the reps. You can say, yeah, I'll make the reel. It's $200. It's fine. You give them the reel. But now if somebody says that to me, I think differently. I say, well, what is the reel? What are you hoping that the reel is going to do for you? What are you hoping that the content that we're going to film and create and put out there is going to do for you? If it's somebody who's just like, oh, I just want to, like a music video or something like that, and okay,
Entertainment, yeah,
you
like if
know,
you want
but
entertainment.
I've found success in working with businesses that need video as a foundational element to drive revenue to their business and to make them more money. And that's when things shifted for me because it's less one-off and more partnership based. I'm invested in it as much as they are, and it has to be like that.
So pretty much anybody who can do the research on a client and give them results is is more value than you can do a cool edit.
I think so.
You think so? All right. I
Because I
agree with
think
it. I agree
nowadays,
with that.
I
When it comes
think,
to client work, I agree that
yeah, and
that's
I
like,
think nowadays with technology and AI and the editing softwares, it's easier now than ever to make a cool edit.
yeah.
Transitions and flashy shit and this and that, and you could buy CapCut for $9.99 and have it cut out the background when you used to have to have a green screen, all that stuff. Like for real, it's not hard to
Oh, now,
make.
now that you mentioned CapCut, so what do you think? What do you think is a good like editing NLE for somebody who's starting off? Like, what's a good NLE or video editing program for somebody starting off? Because now CapCut charges, so it's like now you got all the ones that used to be free, they charge you now. So
Yeah.
at this point, you're just
Well, I think the good thing now is that a lot of the softwares are getting kind of similar. Like even in CapCut, there's keyframes, right?
yeah, I
Where if
seen
you
that.
learn
Yeah.
keyframes there and you transfer over to a program like Premiere Pro or DaVinci, you may be able to transfer that knowledge.
So what do
So I
you?
think that's important. So if someone's just starting out and they don't know anything about anything, then yeah,
Because what is
CapCut.
Premiere? What is you use Premiere? What's Premiere charge you a month? Like what's Premiere cost a
So
month?
if you want to just Premiere, I think it's $29.
29. All right. Because
Yeah.
I have Premiere, but I think I pay for like the bundle with Photoshop. So I use
So
Photoshop.
yeah, again, goes back to like what you're hoping to do with your business, right? So like I started off in photography, right? And I had Photoshop and Lightroom already, which is like 20 or $30 a month.
Oh, I got a question for you when it comes
And
to that.
then yeah, but then if you add Premiere Pro in there, that's 60 and you can get the whole suite for $69, right? And then you get Photoshop and then you get Acrobat, then you get Adobe Stock and you get all these other things. So it just really depends on what you want to do. If you're just starting out, learn whatever you can get your hands
Whatever's
on.
free, whatever's the cheapest, or
Yeah,
whatever you
or
can
get Final
afford.
Cut. It's
Yeah.
$300 for one time,
They just
or
released $30 a month. Oh, I'm sorry, $3 a month with a subscription if you
yeah,
have a student discount. So $3
yeah,
a month, I think, is a good deal for that.
yeah.
You like I hit in the face with it. Let me ask you
Just
this.
learn. Just don't get. This is what people get paralyzed by.
Yeah.
They think about, oh, what do I do? You just have to start something, anything. It doesn't matter. Nowadays, everything is so linear and some things are so similar and transferable to one or the other that just start learning, like go
Do
into
you
CapCut,
do you
like just
think
learn.
learning photography helped you move over the video a little
Oh,
bit like
1,000%.
smoother, or is it like
Yeah,
is it? Do you think like if you would have never learned photography, you would never gone into video?
I think so because I think the foundational elements of photography, right? If somebody asks me, hey, I want to learn photography, I'm like, okay, you need to learn these three things. These are the three things you need to learn: aperture, shutter
Yeah.
speed, and
The
ISO,
triangle. The triangle. Yeah. Yep.
right? If you know those things and you go into video,
You know
how
how
much easier is it?
it is a lot easier.
It's a
Yeah.
lot easier, right? So, if you know those three, the triangle, then you go into video, you're like, okay,
In
and
video,
you
you only have to really worry about one. You have to kind of stop the other two and worry about one.
exactly. So if
So
you're
it makes
going
it a
from
little
a
bit easier.
photography background into video and you say, oh, you search video, all you need to know is that my shutter speed has to be double my frame rate. So if I'm shooting 24 frames a second, as long as my shutter speed, which is one of those three elements of the triangle, is double the frame rate, right? So 1/48 for 24 frames a
Yeah.
second, then my aperture and my ISO, those are going to be, we're going to paint that picture with how we want the image to look. But as long as you have the shutter speed and the aperture like somewhat
Yeah.
dialed,
Yeah.
you can mess with the other two and have a good starting point.
How do you feel about phone content?
I love it.
Like people filming their content
Yeah.
and on their phone
Yeah, I love it.
and possibly telling you like, "Hey, can you edit this for me?" You say that.
I probably wouldn't do it, but I'll give you a scenario, right? I have a client who pays me $6,000 a month, and we do a handful of YouTube videos and a handful of reels. And we started off filming the reels with the camera, and we were posting it, and then going back to the drawing board, and we were just learning that like sometimes phone content just performs better, you know. And I'm not going to lower the price because of that. It's just a different tool,
That goes back, yeah, to like learning
different
what
tool for the
works for them. Yeah.
yeah. So if they want social media reels, but here's what I do, right? And this is kind of what separates people from an amateur from, you know, someone who does it for a living.
Yeah.
I'll still have good lighting and I'll still have really good audio. So what does that mean? I'll have a light with the softbox and a grid, whatever it is, and I'll have a mic with a lav,
So
hidden,
just change the lens, keep the same process pretty
yeah,
much.
and it looks good and it sounds
I got
good.
you.
The files are light, they're easy to edit, and the social media platforms are recognizing them as natively recorded content.
Good question. Because I always thought like, if you're gonna shoot on the phone, you could probably just shoot it right out of camera colors, and it kind of the same.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is that kind of the same or no?
What do you mean? Say it again?
Like, if you just shoot right out of the camera colors instead of like log or whatever
Oh, I
profile
don't
you
fuck
can.
with any of that on the camera.
So you just shoot right out of camera all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
All the
And
time?
just-
No, this can't. They can't shoot
Yeah,
all
and
the
just
time.
make sure that the lighting looks good.
So you shoot all your content out of the camera, everything.
Yeah, 4K, 24
Get
frames.
the heck out of
Yeah.
here! I thought you at least for the documents you shoot like log and stuff like that. Not even for the documents,
The what?
like for your docs, like
Oh, I don't use any phone footage for the docs.
No, I'm saying you don't shoot in log for the documents.
Yes.
Yeah. So you use
Wait, log for the documentaries?
Yeah, like for documentaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do use log then.
Right.
Okay, I thought you were saying right out of camera for the documentaries too. I'm like, there's no way, bro. Cause
I mean,
you showed me some of the clips and they look freaking phenomenal. The
Yeah.
dynamic range looks like crazy in it.
dude, the doc projects are a whole nother conversation because everything starts off one way and ends totally different than you thought you could have ever imagined. You know, when I started filming the first doc, it was like, oh, you know, yeah, we're just going to go here. We're going to film this for 4 days and that's it. It's going to be done. I'm like, okay. So if that's the case, and I know that there needs to be a quick turnaround on the editing, like I probably would
Would've
film
showed
it with the color baked in, you know? And then, so like the first year of the doc that I have filmed, like is with the color baked in. But then once I got more intentional and I knew that this project was going to be bigger and bigger than I thought it was ever going to be, then I started changing. So like, if you go into,
Do you see a difference though in the footage? Like now that you're going through the footage, like do you see, like is it noticeable that you shoot out of
I think
camera
it-
versus
I
shooting
think
in
the
log?
So I think the FX3 does really well with like just standard picture
standard
profile.
profile?
Yeah, I think that sensor is really good. The FX6 I've done an S-Cinetone and a few other ways without log, but like I would just always film in log on the FX6 because it's just going to give you a better result. Yeah, I don't know, but sometimes when I film the FX3 just regular straight out of camera, like if there's nice light, you know, sunrise, sunset, whatever, like these shots, like they look sick.
Yeah, I've been
you
noticing.
don't got to mess with the
I've been
grade.
noticing lately that like
Yeah.
shooting right out of camera, it looks just as
Dude,
good.
that goes back to the first thing we were talking about, lighting.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
Like those are the important, like log, blah, blah, fuck it, whatever, dude. If your lighting sucks and your angles suck and your, you know, the basic foundational elements of filmmaking suck, then log's not going to fix that.
That's true. That's true. And I've noticed that like
Equipment's not going to fix that.
I've spent a lot of time on like color grading and knowing how to do the colors and stuff, making them look good. And then I'm just like, but if you shoot it good right out of camera, you could still do the little tweaks that you like to
Yeah.
do, and it'll still look different from just like shooting out of camera. Like this,
Yeah.
you don't need ultimate dynamic range or this ultimate like savior.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got so
Once
much
you get,
highlights.
so when we start off, we do everything.
Yeah.
You're everyone, right? But as you get involved in bigger projects, you notice that there's a special set of skills for each area, right? So like for camera operating, there's a special set of skills. For lighting, there's a special set of skills. For audio, coloring, editing, those are all individual jobs.
That is, and we're doing all of them in one.
You do it all when you start off,
Yeah.
you know, and now I've started to outsource different things. And now when I'm doing bigger projects, like, you know, we're working on a YouTube series with someone who's in the UFC, and like we're building out this whole show, and like all I'm going to be doing is camera operating, right? We're going to have, you know, B cam, C cam, lighting, an audio engineer, a host for the show. Like we're going to have all these different, like, but I could have never done that like, 4 years ago, I didn't think like that.
What do you think? What do you think is like once you have like a steady income and you're doing pretty good as far as like clients? What do you think is like the next step? Like who should you replace in that circle? So you got
Editors.
audio. I was just about to say you got audio, editor, lighting, and then camera operator. So
Yeah.
you think editors should be the one that you
Yeah.
replace?
That's a big time suck.
Why is that? You just not big into editing? What is it that you don't like
No,
about
no, no. You asked me what's the first thing that you would.
like sub off?
Yeah.
Like yeah, editing.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I can edit. I enjoy editing.
So why would you sub it off? Like so
Because
pretty
I
much yeah.
can
Like that's
make
my question. Like
I can
what's
make
what?
more money doing sales and being on the ground with clients and shooting than I can editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How hard has it been? Because you have it at. How hard has it been to like actually do that? To like find an editor that fits your needs and stuff
Not
like
hard
that.
at all.
No.
No.
I always thought it'd be hard to like tell somebody like, yo, all right, change this, change that, like just to kind of get the way that you want the image to look.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I've had a few different guys on my team, and the one guy that's with me now has been with me for almost 18 months. And it takes, 3 to 6 months to get them to understand the process and like how you want them to think, because they don't think. It's one thing to shoot the
because
project.
I feel like even though you're still like even though you're not editing the content, you're actually shooting it, and it's your business, so you gotta like still envision the edit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Look, building a business and being an entrepreneur and all these things that we're doing, you have to be a good leader. So being a good leader is how you find good editors. That's how you get good people to work with you. Like, learn how to be a leader, and all the other things will fall into place.
What do you think the next like person you will replace will be? Like if you got lighting, audio, edit, and camera operator, what do you think? So you already got an editor. What's your thing? What's your next thing to replace? As far as like
So, yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I would love to have another filmmaker who's like a project manager, someone who's like client facing, who can
so like another you.
basically, yeah.
Pretty
So
much,
like
yeah.
you can go out and shoot, you can back up the footage, you can upload it to our database, you can create projects in the project management software, you can assign it to the editors and all. I think that's the next
one.
for me specifically,
Yeah.
just with what I have going on right now, because that would allow me to sell more.
Let me ask you. This is another one that I've been hearing. Can I just buy the equipment? You just set it up. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Like
it happens
clients,
all the time.
clients wanting to like kind of offset your cost by them buying the equipment. I've had this question asked before. Like, hey, if I buy the equipment, would it be cheaper to just, have you come and film with my equipment? That way they can save on the cost. What do you think about that? I've had this before, mainly with like
I
the
have it all the
podcast.
time, bro. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, mainly with like
We were
podcast.
just at one the other
Yeah,
day.
mainly podcast stuff. But I've had it happen before with like filming content. Like, oh, I bought a camera. If you could just come and shoot me like doing like BTS stuff with my camera, is it cheaper, or they think it might be cheaper buying the camera? Is it as easy as we make it seem like? Like, can you sit here and think?
I don't think people hire me for equipment. I think people hire me for expertise, skill set, knowledge.
Yeah. So do
The
you
person
think?
who I am, the way that I talk and interact with people, the integrity that I have. That's why people hire me.
But I think at one point it started off where they were like just hiring a camera guy.
For sure.
Yeah. So do you think?
And like that's a mindset shift that everyone has to go through. Like you need to understand that if you want to be successful in any industry, like for us specifically, it's breaking through that barrier of thinking like I'm just a guy with
I'm
a camera.
just a guy with a camera.
Because you're not. You're someone with a solution. Like it's deeper than being
Well,
just
as a camera operator, do
Yeah.
you think that skill alone is easy?
No. I think that everyone thinks that if they just buy the camera equipment, they could do
That's
it
what I
themselves.
mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of those. Like,
Okay.
oh, I bought a camera. I spent
Yeah.
$2,000 on it. Like, I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. And that's what I'm getting to, like a camera operator.
Yeah.
So now,
All right, well, let's break down the scenario that we had the other day. Client wants to do the podcast. They buy the equipment. We set everything up for them. And then we record the podcast. We bring the files back. We realize that there's issues with the equipment that weren't set up properly that need to be addressed. They're in a space where everything is going to get moved around all the time. So are they going to be able to frame up the shots in a way that look good, in a way that sounds good? Is the lighting going to be right?
Yeah.
You know, is somebody going to bump into the camera and change the shutter speed accidentally, and then the whole thing be blurry, or the focus? These are all things that are going to happen, right? So it's more than just buying the equipment and being able to just hop in and turn it on and get a good result. Like, you generally need someone there to help guide you in that process.
Yeah, I agree
Because
with
look,
that, man.
there's so many, even for me as one person, like being in that one man band position, like, you know, if you're, let's say you're doing a podcast, right? So one podcast, there's 2 cameras, 2 microphones, lighting. Those are all elements, separate elements that you have to make sure look and sound really great. So to be thinking about all these different things, right? For us, it's normal. Those are reps that we do all the time. But for the client, they don't think like that.
No.
They can't understand that. So could you buy the equipment and save some cash up front? Maybe. Could you screw yourself up and book a guest and come in and think, oh, I can do this and record and everything's fucked up, and then your guest, you're like, oh no, we got to redo the podcast. Like, now you're gonna look like an idiot. Is what you're gonna look like.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to call the
Because you
person
wanted to
back,
save a
yeah.
couple $100 by not having someone help you.
My thing with that is I always like think like back to you being the camera operator, having all those jobs, is like the moment you decide to buy a camera is like you have to think about all those jobs.
Yeah.
Like you can't just say I'm gonna be a camera operator, because if you give the footage off to editor and they're like, what is this? It seems
Yeah.
like the shutter's off. It's like, what
Yeah.
the hell is this?
And
The lighting's off. So it's
Yeah.
like, but when you pick up, this is for clients that are looking into like, oh, let me buy a camera, let me film it, and I'll give it to you. You need to know lighting, audio, and also how to film.
Yeah.
I think to be able to be like, here's the footage, can you do something with it?
Yeah, and I'll say this as like a follow up on that. Even me, myself, every single job that I do that has multiple cameras, audio, lighting, every single time, and this is without fail, every single time I get back to the edit and I get in there and I see there's always at least 1 or 2 things that I wish I did differently or wish I did better. One or two things every project, right? So think about someone who has no experience
yeah.
doing it. How many errors are there going to be?
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Perfect example. This one here, we forgot to bring the wind cover.
Yeah, so you're probably hearing.
I'm hoping it sounds good, but yeah.
Fuck it.
But
We had look, this is what we did. We had an idea, saw something, got inspired, and we went out and we executed on it. So that's another place where people get like, you know, I know you want to talk about filming your own content and all that, but that's where people get paralyzed too, is they just like have this idea, this great idea, and then they just never do
they
anything.
never
with it.
do it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is part of that right now. It's just
I
having
hope the
an idea.
audio's fucked up. I hope the birds are chirping and everyone can hear it. And I hope we get some great shit
Yeah.
out of it, you know?
And
It's
that
the
was
process.
this. Yeah, that was the idea. It was just like you have an idea, just film it, see how it looks, and it might help you out in the future. With like, you have an idea with a client, and you're like, hey, let's just film it and see how it comes
Yeah.
out. So that was my idea behind this, but that's pretty much it. That's what I had. I just wanted to talk about really like camera gear and like clients and pick your brain on it.
Let's talk about, so you moved here a year ago, and why did you even like, how did you get the idea to reach out to me on Instagram? or
On
something?
Instagram,
Yeah.
so I had came 2 years prior before moving here, and the first thing I did was like Google production companies in the area, and you were like the closest one to my brother's house. So I was like, oh, this guy got a production. Let me see how I can help out. I've always known that like providing value first is like the best way to like build some kind of relationship or to just kind of fit in, like show
Yeah.
value first. That's the way I've seen it before. So I was like, oh, this guy does the same thing that I do, which is like what I was doing back up north. So I'm like, let me see what he does. And then I came and visited again 2 years after. So before I moved there, so I came again. And before I made the decision, I came and visited that second time. And I looked you up again, and you had changed your whole thing. It was like you wasn't doing weddings. You wasn't doing like a whole bunch of the stuff that you were doing before. So I started looking at it. I'm like,
Evolving.
yeah. So I'm like, oh, all right, he's changed. I was like, that means he's figured something out. So I was like, let me see what this guy's doing that he figured out
Yeah.
because he changed. He started filming like more interviews. I started seeing that you were filming the documentary, like client work, like stuff like that. And that was kind of more the stuff that I wanted to do. So I was like, he got away from the real estate. I didn't see any more real estate on your profile at all. And I remember the first time coming, you had a lot of real estate. And that's what I was doing back home was real estate and weddings. And I was like, I want to do some more doc and interview stuff, but I still love weddings. Real estate, I was completely done. I didn't want to
Why
do
do you
no
think everyone starts with real estate and weddings?
because those are the easiest people to find. Is like those. That's the
Yeah.
easiest client, and believe it or not, those are the ones. I think realtors are the ones that kind of give you like the first chance because they're just looking for like a cheap way out.
Yeah.
So they're just
They're
looking for
looking for
some. Yeah,
they're the exact person looking for the $200 video
exactly.
who
So
just
those are
wants
the ones that
they
are like
just want the guy with the camera.
yes,
They don't care about solutions.
exactly. A lot of them is like yeah, whatever you can make. It's like and
Although there are some really high-end
there.
real
Yeah, so
estate.
I was gonna say that. So
That's
they are.
different. Different level.
That's a whole nother level of like high end realtors. Like, but there are a lot of realtors. There is realtors every year. Thousands
Yeah.
of real people becoming realtors because
Same thing with people getting married.
it's the easiest way
Yeah.
to like escape the 9 to 5 is real is being a realtor. I believe.
Yeah.
Like you can do it on the side. You can you make your own hours. So that was the way. And I had so many friends that were realtors. So I was like, this is the easy one for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. It was just like just seeing your involvement, like how you evolved from like doing real estate and only weddings when I first came, and just how your content just switched. So
Yeah. I think people need to learn that. Like, and actually, you aren't the first person that I got connected with by that same means. Somebody else like Googled me and like reached out, and then like we became friends, and like we've worked together on a bunch of different projects. So I think it's important for people to know that like collaboration
oh yeah,
happens at the top. Competition's at the bottom,
yep,
right? Like nobody's out here competing with one another. We're all just out here collaborating. We all help each other. We all help each other's families eat, and I think that's an important thing to know. And like if you want to get started in some industry like this and like one day be your own boss and be able to provide for your own family with doing something that you really, really love doing, then go find someone else who's doing it and just help them. Just be their friend and just provide value, just like you
that's it,
said.
man.
Like,
Just providing
how
value.
can
I
I
think.
help you?
Yeah,
Like everybody wants like the what's in it for me type mentality shit, and like I'll help you, but like I'm gonna charge this.
and
It's like,
believe it or not, like I feel like just knowing that I can feel those people, and I don't even want to work with those people. Like the
yeah,
people that come along is like, oh well, I got a camera, so how much you think you could pay me for this and that? Like you haven't shown me nothing yet. This is
yeah,
a whole this whole industry revolves around like how you can communicate with clients, how you can communicate with team people like other
yeah,
people, and like those are the big things that I look for really. Is like how can you
yeah,
communicate? If you can't
yeah.
communicate, I can't really work with you. It's like it's hard to.
Yeah, I think over time you become very skilled. This is also another skill that is completely unrelated to the business, filmmaking, all that stuff. But yeah, communication is important, and then just like being able to read someone's energy, which like over time I could do with like 2 minutes on the phone. Like 2 minutes on the phone, like if I get a lead or something like that, or like somebody refers me to somebody, or like they call me off of Google or whatever it is, within the first 2 minutes, I can tell,
If you want to
like,
work with them or if they're the
yeah,
right
or
fit.
if they're like my ideal person, or
Oh,
like,
that's what I meant to ask you. So
yeah,
have you ever turned anybody down?
all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good.
I can now. I didn't earlier. I did everything. You have to be hungry and do everything when you're starting off, you know?
What makes you turn somebody down now that's like that you think is not a right fit for you as a client? Like if a client calls you and it's
Yeah,
like, hey, like what are some red flags that you think is like, all right, you might not be the right fit for me.
good question. This goes back to what I was saying about video being a foundational piece of a business that they need to drive results and revenue. Like if that doesn't feel right, like then I don't think it's a fit,
I,
right?
I,
I don't like one-off projects. Like I'm not like I did it all the time.
what do you
You
mean by
know,
one off? Like just do one job for them and that's it?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. Like if it's something like that, I normally don't. Like, and it didn't start off like that. Most of my clients now are retainers, where it's like they pay me a monthly amount and we continue to work together, and that's how I found stability, right? And like once you get one of those, it kind of snowballs, and like you just know, like, hey, this could be a long-term thing. And like if somebody's like, oh, I just want to do this video, but it's like, I don't know. Like I want partnerships.
Yeah, I like.
That's so. I guess going back to the original question, like if I don't feel like the because also like you talk to these people, dude. My clients I talk to every single day.
Yeah, I noticed that, man. When we're at the gym, you be texting them, calling, they be
I talk to
calling
my
you all the
clients
time,
every
all the
single
time.
day.
Yeah, so
And I'm always on
that's a big part of it too. Because
I'm
now
on
you're
their
building a
Slack.
relationship.
I'm
Yeah,
on their
yeah,
Slack. I'm
yeah,
on their WhatsApp. I'm on their email. I'm
yeah.
on their Trello boards. I'm integrated into their business, right? So like I
That becomes a valuable asset. You become like a really valuable.
well, yes, but also like they're like everyday part of my life, right? So like if they're not on the same wavelength as me as like frequency and energy and like being positive and like helping people and like all that, like it's just not gonna work. You know, I think that that's so important. Like you vibrate at a certain level, and like the people that you're supposed to be involved with and work with will get attracted to you,
Yeah.
and like God will repel the ones that aren't. So like I think it's I think like saying no to people as like a superpower. Eventually it becomes like a thing, but like it normally happens for me, like now I don't get a lot of things that I have to say no to. um
What's an easy way to say no to? Like, do you just like overcharge them, or like not overcharge, but do you
no,
just give
because
them a
then they're
quote?
going to say yes and you're going to get into a situation that you don't want to get into. You just respectfully say that, like, hey, look,
We
like,
might not be the right
yeah,
fit.
I don't think I'm
Yeah.
the right fit for this project, but I certainly can like send you a referral
Yeah.
or I can connect you with someone who I think can help you.
And back to like
Where I'm at in my career, where I'm at in my business. Like, okay, weddings, a great example, right? You said you saw weddings and then you didn't see weddings because I don't do them anymore,
yeah,
right?
I noticed that. Yeah, yeah, you're not.
Because I have two children and I have I'm married, obviously, with two children, right? And for me, it's more important for me to spend time with them and be available to them, especially on Friday nights, Saturdays, or Sundays all day. Like I need to, dude, like my kids are growing, right? They're 4 and 7 now. And like I'm gonna blink and they're gonna be gone, like to college or whatever. Like, so I don't want to spend my weekends doing weddings. So it's not that I don't enjoy doing weddings. It's just that my life is in a place now where, hey, look, like for me to work every Saturday, it's not realistic. Like I want to be with my kids and my wife, you know?
That's understandable.
So that's the answer to how you say no.
What do you mean? So
That's the answer to how you say no to jobs that you like. It's not
like it's
about the
gonna.
job. It's more about this is my life and this is my business and this is how I want to create it. You have to build it in a way that makes you happy. And I'm not going to take on work that's going to make me unhappy or
It's gonna make you
make
feel like you're losing out
make
on
my
something.
life
Yeah, yeah,
unmanageable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what I meant by like with the like saying no is like I've had clients where it's like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, "How much for this?" And those are the red flags for me.
I think that's a great red flag.
Like the moment they
Yeah.
they they ask for a price without giving you information or what it's gonna do for them or what are they looking for it to do for their business, I think that's a red flag. Like the
Yeah.
moment they say, "Hey, I got your number. I'm trying to see how much it will cost for you to come out for these amount of hours," that's a red flag for me.
Yeah. Price is like the last thing. Think about how you create a proposal or or a presentation to a potential client, right? And it's like, hey man, this is who I am. This is a little bit about me and my family. This is how I operate my business. These are the kinds of people that I work with, right? Here's some of my work, my projects that I've been doing. This is what excites me. Here's how I can help you. Here's what we can do together. Here's how we can build this relationship. And man, you know what? This is the investment. This is how much it costs. That's the last thing. Very, very last thing.
You know what? Now that you say that, I looked at that proposal. Now it brings me back to that proposal you sent me,
Hmm.
and it makes sense because if you think about it, if they're thinking long term, this is like the guy I'm gonna work with every time he comes and shoots, or this
Yeah.
is the guy I'm gonna be talking to every day. Then it makes sense for them to understand like where you're coming from and
Yeah.
like, do you have a family? Like, what do you do? Like, you know, make sure
The
you
price
guys
up
align
front thing
too.
is a
Yeah, yeah,
great
yeah,
that's a great red flag.
yeah,
Because they don't care much about anything.
yeah.
Like if you want to just buy something, just fucking
And that's
just
why it says a red flag for me, because it's just like the moment they say that, it's like you don't really value who I am and what I've done. You just
yes,
value you need somebody for that day.
yeah,
So at that point, you don't even know what the content's gonna look like. Because if you don't even know
yeah,
what my content or how I am or how I like to film, then you don't even value the content you want to pay for. So
yeah,
therefore, you're not gonna pay that much, or you're not gonna value it even if you pay much. It's gonna just be like, oh, I paid this much
yeah.
for this. So
And again, man, this all comes with just time and experience. You know, like when I was first starting off, if somebody just called me and was like, "Hey, man, I want to do this." Sure, it's $400, and just hope that they say yes, and then we just go and we just wing it, and then I never see that person again or hear from them ever again. So it's like when you deal with those types of people in that type of scenario and you deliver that, I mean, that's just what you get. You keep getting the one off shit.
this is
You
a
know?
this is like a funny one, but like, do you ever go back to like clients that hit you up one time and never again, and see if they're like got like a different video guy?
Um,
Like, does that ever like does that ever cross your mind? Like, hey, let me see what these just
yes.
like what type
I was gonna
do
say
you
no because I don't want to feed into the negativity. But I think that like everybody thinks like that sometimes,
like like
because whenever somebody doesn't go with you, you always think like, what was I missing? So
hmm
I think I'll flip it around, right? Instead of me like having the the victim mentality, I would look at the situation and say like, okay, who did they go with and what are they doing that's a little bit different than what I am doing that maybe I can implement into my business to be better.
mm
So I think that's important. Like it's never about like, oh man, poor. Like I hate the victim mentality stuff. Like I dropped that attitude a long, long time ago. But sometimes I'll dive in and just see like, what can I do better? And here's another thing, right? Let's say you send a proposal to a client or you pitch a client, and they say, oh, we decided to go another direction. My next email always is, what could I have done better in this scenario here to
I've
earn
heard
the
that before.
business?
Yeah. Do you usually get a response back, or the
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
because that's an intimidating question. Like,
Bro,
if I got
why?
that, I'd be like, I don't want to tell him. Maybe
That's fine. Then they delete the email, but at
yeah,
least you asked.
yeah. Because I see that.
Yep.
All right,
All right.
that's it.
See y'all next time. Peace.